We want to go home, and we don't have jobs, don't have money, so that you see the problem is these people for much too much. That is the thing why we are here. The situation is very hard because all the people now, the white people for the jobs, they just say everyone must get papers. Now, if you go to get papers, you can't get it. That is the thing. So it's better to go home. If you are not a foreigner, you are fine. But for us foreigners, they need papers, permits. If the bus didn't come, I can sleep here. I have no choice.
Spray says worsening economic conditions and growing uncertainty convinced them that it is time to leave.
Most of the people, they are getting fired because they don't have the right documentation. So obviously they can't afford to stay in the country. The economy was bad that time when I came, compared maybe to now. I'm not sure what's on the ground now, but as I see on the social media, it looks better. As we are here by the embassy, we are feeling like we are at home, so maybe they will try to sort us out for us to leave.
Around 3 o'clock.
Yeah?
Yeah, we arrive around 3 o'clock. I come from Port Elizabeth in Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
Patton's location.
I'm from the Eastern Cape as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So you are here because what do you want?
We want to go back to our country because they were chasing away there.
Did they chase you away?
Yeah, they say we must go back to your country and then you can fix your country. So I come there, I prepare my stuff, and then I come here.
Do you think you're going to be able to travel home when you're looking at the many people that are here? Do you think you're going to be able to get the help you need?
Again, waiting until when that buses come.
Okay, so you're prepared to wait for however it takes?
Yes, I can prepare to wait.
So it's going to rain tonight. You can see the weather in Cape Town. Do you have an idea of where you're going to sleep?
I don't have any choice. Yeah, I can just wait where other people is.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
I want to go home to Zimbabwe. And because of what is going on in South Africa, I feel it's safe for me to go home and starting life there. For me, it's mostly like safety. Yeah, safety is the most important thing. Other than just like risking staying, like the places where I stay there, it's not safe. So even though if you have proper documentations, it's not like it's not safe even for you to stay. Those people, they don't really they do action more before they ask you about papers and stuff and check everything.
Zimbabweans, the whole country is here in South Africa. We had to even include exemption permits for Zimbabweans. Why are Botswana nationals not here in South Africa? In their numbers, they are happy in Botswana. Swazis, Abesuthu, they are there, others are still here, but they are there in their countries in numbers. Why are they here? No justification for that. We have been talking to them from the days of Thabo Mbeki that give Zimbabweans what we have agreed to them. They looked away. And when the economies of Zimbabwe collapsed, we then witnessed the unprecedented amount of Africans crossing the Limpopo River, among crocodiles coming into our country with children, crossing to South Africa for survival. When Robert Mugabe fought for land redistribution in Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe subjected to sanctions and paralyzed to the ground, when Zimbabwe was the breadbasket of the African continent, and Zimbabweans did not need to come to South Africa to look for jobs, including petty jobs working in our homes, because they were satisfied in Zimbabwe. There are mines in Zimbabwe. Breadbasket, they were working in the fields in Zimbabwe. They came into our country after Mugabe, forcefully, after 10 years of the Lancaster collapse, that now we are taking land. And they said Mugabe is doing land grab. Tony Blair and the United States of America withdrew the economic support and investment in Zimbabwe and collapsed the Zimbabwean economy. But they still exploit the natural resources of Zimbabwe in your country. What is that going to end with? All of us, we should be looking at the state to increase its capacity to deal with this phenomenon. That's what is important. Are the issues that have been raised about illegal immigrants in our country not genuine, not real? They are real, they are truthful. We live amongst our people. I was giving you examples here. These things, you know them yourselves. I'm not talking about stuff that I don't know. And then Sabelo, Samkele Askur, don't we think the ANC has failed South Africans in relation to this in relation to this particular matter of illegal immigration and all of that? Failure will be the simplest way of saying ANC government has actually failed. But the fact of the matter is that the matter is more complex than that. It's more complex than that, and therefore it needs to be attended to vehemently. We've been dealing with this thing since we came into power. Even before we came into power, Africans have come into this country in the city of gold and work in the mines. The Basotho nationals, Botswana, the Zimbabweans, the Mozambicans have worked in the mines, and some of them refused to be unionized under the National Union of Mine Workers and subjected themselves to the exploitation of the mining companies in our country. And therefore they were protected. It is the ANC that came into power and undermined that and unionized in the mines and recognized the unions. You remember the black and black violence, Amaxhosa, Nabatswana, Namachangani in the mines. Because of what? Of scab work. When others who are South Africans championed strikes in the mines, those who came from outside the country who were illegal and foreign nationals did not strike, and they were used as scab labor in our country. It is perpetuated now in our streets through the porous borders.
His central argument was that migration into South Africa did not begin yesterday. He reminded South Africans that workers from Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Botswana and Lesotho have crossed into South Africa for employment for generations, particularly in the mining industry. He further argued that Zimbabwe's economic collapse accelerated migration into South Africa and that the issue cannot simply be reduced to one slogan or one political campaign. According to him, the migration crisis has deep historical, economic and regional roots that successive governments have grappled with for years. Whether one agrees entirely with his analysis or not, one point he made deserves attention. This issue is far more complex than many people would like it to be, because today we are not simply talking about immigration, we are talking about border security, we are talking about economic migration, we are talking about national sovereignty, we are talking about governance, and above all, we are talking about human beings whose lives have been shaped by decisions made over many years, both inside and outside South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, after watching all those clips back to back, it becomes clear that we are witnessing two completely different realities colliding. On one side, we have thousands of South Africans demanding stronger immigration enforcement, tighter border control, and the removal of undocumented foreign nationals. Their message has been consistent for years. South Africa must know who is in the country, immigration laws must be enforced, and illegal immigration cannot continue unchecked. On the other side, we have Zimbabwean nationals standing outside their own consulate in Cape Town, not protesting, not demanding to stay, but waiting patiently, quietly and emotionally for an opportunity to return home. Many of them spoke with tears in their eyes. Some admitted they have lived in South Africa for years, even decades. Some described leaving behind jobs, friendships and communities they had built over a lifetime. Others said the current atmosphere has made them feel that returning home, despite all the uncertainty that awaits them, is now the better option. Those farewell messages are difficult to watch. Whether someone agrees or disagrees with their presence in South Africa, it is impossible to ignore the emotion in their voices. These are people facing an uncertain future. They do not know what awaits them across the border. They do not know how they will rebuild their lives. Many are simply choosing what they believe is the safest option under the current circumstances. One thing that can no longer be honestly disputed is that undocumented immigration has become one of the biggest public policy issues facing South Africa. For years, community organizations, activists and ordinary citizens raised concerns about undocumented migration, pressure on public services, criminal syndicates operating across porous borders and weaknesses in immigration enforcement. Many of those voices were criticized. Some were labelled xenophobic before their concerns were fully examined. Others were dismissed as spreading fear. Today, however, even government leaders openly acknowledge that South Africa faces serious challenges relating to undocumented migration, border management and immigration compliance. That does not automatically validate every claim made by every activist, but it does demonstrate that the issue itself is real and requires serious policy responses rather than political slogans. At the same time, another reality has become impossible to ignore. Behind every immigration statistic is a person. Behind every deportation is a family. Behind every voluntary return is someone who once believed South Africa offered hope. Watching Zimbabwean nationals sleeping outside their consulate, prepared to spend nights in the cold while waiting for transport back home, should remind everyone that immigration debates are not only about numbers, they are also about lives. Some of these individuals arrived years ago looking for employment because opportunities had become increasingly limited in their own country. Some established businesses. Some worked in construction, some worked on farms. Others became domestic workers, security guards, mechanics and labourers. Undoubtedly, some contributed positively to South African communities. Others entered and remained in the country without complying with immigration laws. Both realities can exist at the same time. Acknowledging the humanity of migrants does not mean ignoring immigration laws. Likewise, supporting stronger immigration enforcement should never become a license for intimidation, violence or hatred. A democratic society should be capable of enforcing its laws professionally while preserving the dignity of every individual involved. This is precisely where South Africa now finds itself. The country is attempting to balance compassion with constitutional responsibility. The government has a legal obligation to protect South Africa's borders and ensure compliance with immigration legislation. At the same time, every person, regardless of nationality, deserves to be treated lawfully, fairly and with dignity. The emotional scenes outside the Zimbabwean consulate should therefore not be viewed as a victory for one side or a defeat for another. Instead, they should serve as a reminder of what happens when regional economic challenges, weak border management, and years of unresolved immigration policy eventually reach a breaking point. This is not merely South Africa's story, it is a Southern African story. Economic instability in one neighboring country inevitably affects another. Migration pressures do not disappear simply because borders exist. That is why regional cooperation, economic development, effective governance and lawful immigration systems remain essential if long-term solutions are to be achieved. As the 30th of June deadline approaches, emotions continue to rise across South Africa. Some South Africans believe this marks the beginning of long overdue immigration enforcement. Others worry about the possibility of further social tension and uncertainty. Meanwhile, hundreds of Zimbabweans continue waiting outside their consulate, hoping buses will arrive so they can begin the difficult journey back home. Their future remains uncertain. Some will return to families they have not seen in years. Others will return with very little after spending much of their adult lives in South Africa. Whatever position one holds on immigration, today's images should remind us of one important truth. Laws matter, borders matter, national sovereignty matters, but humanity matters too. A country can enforce its immigration laws firmly while ensuring that every person is treated with dignity, fairness and respect. Those principles should never compete with one another.